Welcome you all to an episode of the Live Better, the Jason Beck Show on Juneteenth. And before I get any further into it, you're going to want to stay to through the whole video, because I have a lot of points that I want to make. You skip one part, then you're going to miss it. So I wanted to say that I am glad that slavery ended when it did, because to be honest, I believe every man and woman should be free. Now, looking back then, there were a lot of cultures that had servants and slaves. In that time era, that was a normal thing. You know, do I believe that was right, that another person should own someone else? No. I don't believe that anyone should own. I don't believe anyone is inferior to one another, to one person. I believe everyone, God loves everyone equally. And that's how we should. We should love our neighbors. We should care about others and respect others, and do what we can to be a blessing and to help people. And I believe that my message, especially when I posted on another media site, was misconstrued, because they might think, well, man, they're probably thinking I'm racist, and I am not racist. Any of my friends that know me, they know I'm not racist. I have white friends, I have Asian friends, I have black friends, I have friends of every different color. So no, I am not racist at all. But what I don't like, and I know there's still people out there that are going to try to jump down my throat, and I'm going to stop you there. Respect my opinion. If you have nothing nice to say, don't leave a comment at all. Just go about your business. Tired of people disrespecting people and their opinions. But if you can share it nicely and be respectful, then that's fine. If we can have a respectful conversation. Confederates and the Confederate flag, I don't view it as racist. I view it as part of history. Now, hold on. Before you jump the gun, let me explain my point here. Not every person in the Confederacy had slaves. Not every person in the Confederacy was racist. Not every person in the Confederacy I had my thought there, but you get my drift. So not everyone in the Confederacy, had a they didn't feel that like there were some people in the Confederacy that were slave owners, that had slaves. There were free black men in the South that had plantations and slaves too. So don't just thinking it was just, the white man and white women that had slaves. There were free black men, free African slaves. I guess they were from Africa, so you could call them African Americans. Anybody that wasn't born in Africa, I now understand they're black Americans. But they had slaves and plantations. So it wasn't just the whites. Yes, predominantly it was more than the whites, but it wasn't just the whites that had slaves. It's kind of like saying that, for example, that all Christians are hypocrites, right? We all heard that phrase. That everyone's a hypocrite. Not everyone's a hypocrite. Not everyone is the same. It's like saying that all the Democrats are all of them are just horrible because they just want to get rid of all of our history and all of our rights. And that's not true. Not every Democrat is like that. There's some very respectable Democrats that respect, our rights and stuff. But there are some that go overboard, way overboard, And the point that I'm hoping that you can take away from this is that not every, when you think of Confederacy, I know a lot of people just think, oh, racism, slavery, and stuff. And that could have been easily switched. Do your research. There are some people in the Union, in the North, too, that that believed in slavery. So before you cast your pitchforks, this is both ways. The Union wasn't perfect either. They were not perfect. The North was not perfect at all either. They all had their faults. Even the Confederacy had their faults. They all do. It's like every human has its faults. Now I want to get off that and go on to a different topic, and let's talk about, like white lives, black lives, and all lives matter. To me, all lives matter. Black lives is a narrative. White lives is a narrative that the left started, that the Democrats started, to make you upset, to get you angry, so you can end up voting for them. And then they pin it on the Republicans and saying, oh, no, they're not doing anything, and look at all this chaos. And they're the ones that egged it on. They're the ones that are trying to take your rights away. They're the ones, the left is trying to take your freedom of religion away, your freedom of speech away. Look at this on some of these media platforms. They try to take your freedom of speech away. They demonetize your accounts because it doesn't line up to their narrative. But yet, they can have CNN and NBC and all these news channels on their media platform, and they're getting monetized. So you tell me the right in that. Where's the freedom in that? There is no freedom in that when they think that they're inferior to that everybody else is, they're inferior to everyone else. When they are choosing favorites because they want to control the narrative. See, the media they're going to feed you stuff that the mainstream media is going to feed you stuff that they're going to tailor it around what they want you to hear. You don't hear about when a white cop shoots a white man. You don't hear when a black cop shoots a black man. But the minute that a white cop shoots a black man or a thug, you're going to hear about it. If you watch that same video of that guy at Wendy's, he was drunk, DUI. He was cordial, and then he just flipped out like a crazy man when the cops were going to arrest him. And then he punches a cop in the face and takes his taser and then shoots it at him. That is just not, that is dangerous. He was a danger not just to the cops, but to other people. He was a thug. So you all are supporting people that are, you're wanting justice for criminals. He was a criminal. Man's been to jail before. Wouldn't have been his first time in the slammer. Now, what happened to George Floyd? That was police brutality. And that does happen. But you know what? That actually happens to white criminals or white people too. That are victims of police brutality also. But you don't hear about it. It's not on the news. It's only when it benefits the left, the far left. When it benefits them, Oh, it's all over on the news. Because I'll tell you what, CNN, that is fake news. That is them wanting to control the narrative. They're only wanting you to know about certain parts of it and know it their way. You know. So our country has endured a lot in 2020. But the thing is, 50 years ago, we didn't have all this. 70 years ago, we didn't have all this. But somehow, now it's like everyone gets offended over every little thing. You know, that, oh no, we need to remove that out of the name. We need to take Aunt Jemima's syrup and change it and no longer have Aunt Jemima. Oh, we need to take that name out of the Robert E. Lee, out of the, or Stephen F. or any of these out of the name of the university. We need to remove these statues. Golly. Grow up, people. You're going to get a... Next thing we know, someone's going to get offended because they don't like the name the Seattle Seahawks or the Kansas Blue Jays or whatever, because that represents a bird and we shouldn't be using a name of a bird. That's offensive. They're offending the birds. You think it won't happen, but it very well could happen. You know, it's a constant thing, people. And you gotta move past that. You know, if Jesus was here, if Jesus came down back today, hung out with everybody, he would be disgusted with how people are acting. You think he'd go and start degrading statues and removing parts of history, you know, and trying to take people's freedoms away? You can't do this, you can't do that. No. He would lead by example and love. And I agree. There's some YouTubers, conservative twins. I want to give them a shout out. I started watching their videos, and I agree with a lot of what they're saying. So you should definitely check out their channel. I'll make sure when I edit everything that I will leave their channel link below, either in the comment section or in the description box below. Definitely should. If you're into alternative media and tired of mainstream media, you should check out Marfugal News, Marfugal TV. I'll leave his links below. I've been following his channel from pretty much day one. Day one. He posted his first video. I've been following his channel for a long time. So he's a really good guy. Has a good heart. It just wants to get stuff out there for people to stay informed. You know, but you know, and like I said, I just wanted to wrap this up and clear it out that I am not a racist. You know, and I hope someone doesn't label me as a racist, because you and I, we're going to have a long conversation. You know, I'm going to build a time machine and take you back in time. You know, and take you through the life of Jason Beck and your life and history. Because I am not a racist. But I am not going to stand for anyone taking anyone's freedoms away, or any part of history. I don't care what part of history it is. If you don't like it, don't read about it, don't watch it, don't look at it, don't have any part of it. But you don't have to get offended over everything. You know, and I would agree with the conservative twins, the YouTubers, on what they said about Colin Kaepernick. You know, I agree what they said, that he was in the wrong. The way he did it, it offended a lot of people, and his message that he was trying to get across, it didn't get across. And I agree with the conservatives how they talked about how he should have stand his hand on his heart, should have held a sign of all the victims of that were, police brutality or racism or anything like that. That's what he should have done. And I agree. That would have been the correct way to do it. And Drew Brees, I commend you. And I salute you also. In your message to other people, to what you said about the national anthem. When I stand, and in closing, this is what I want to talk about. Last topic is the national anthem and how people are taking knees and stuff. But in the national anthem, that is honoring our troops and the people that served in the wars and for the freedoms that we have today. There would be no free black men and women if the Union did not win the war. Now, do I believe that maybe at some point the Confederacy would have said, and there would have been uprisings of whites and blacks and saying enough is enough, no more slavery? Absolutely. I think it was coming to a point where a lot of Christians would have eventually said no more. We got to end this. So there might have been a civil war within the Confederacy. The Union may have not had to even step in, maybe step in to help and stuff. But the national anthem, when that's played, when I'm standing, I'm thinking about all the nationalities, all forms and races of human beings that have served in our armed forces, that have died for our freedoms, that have died for democracy, that have died protecting other people. That is the people that I think about. So when you take a knee, you offend me. Not just me, but millions and millions of Americans and armed force members as well too, and their families. Protest the right way. But taking a knee is disrespectful. That won't get you anywhere. Not in America. You want to be heard? Do it the right way. Don't do what Kaepernick did. That was the dumbest move that he could have made to get his point across. And everyone hated him after that. Couldn't get his point across. They hated him. They were offended by him. Now he's not even in the NFL. So I would say to every athlete, every American out there, to stand during the national anthem, to pay respects to the fallen soldiers and people that continue to serve this country and to serve our militaries, to keep us safe, to keep others safe. And I've said it before and I said it again. And you know what? I had I don't know. I mean, I would call him more friend, acquaintance, old classmate from college. Tried to shove my own words back in my face. And if he's listening, then he'll know exactly who he is. But I'm not going to say names. But if you're not happy living in America, and I believe that my president said it too. Our President Trump said it. President T-Man said it also. If you're not happy, you don't have to live here. You can go move to a different country. Maybe you might realize, well, it's not always greener on the other side when you move to a different country. But stop disrespecting our heroes. And stop disrespecting the flag and our country. I'm Jason Beck. Our next episode is not going to be about politics. It'll be about totally something different. So, anyways, I hope this message reaches a lot of people. And I hope that you share this. And I really don't care if you get offended. This is my beliefs, my rights, and what I'm standing up for, and standing up for a lot of other people. So, have a great day. You can subscribe, unsubscribe, whatever you decide to do. You know, for anyone that still supports this channel and, you know, follows me and the Jason Beck Show, I want to thank you all. You know, so, till next time, catch you all later.